All right, guys, let me just show you how I have these water bottles and tiles set up. So I got the 3 tiles here, and then we got the same type of water bottles that Chuk used, these square 1-gallon water bottles. So we made sure everything is exactly the same. He used the same tiles, 3 of them. So let's see what happens, guys. Let's see how my 500 Smith & Wesson with the 6.5-inch barrel does compared to Chuk's classic Ruger Toklat in 454 Casull. Looks like it only penetrated through 1 water bottle. Here was the water bottle behind the tiles, and you can see that it was just completely annihilated. And I had a perfect hit, basically exactly where I wanted to hit, right here, this little hole. Okay, so probably not even the entire bullet, or maybe most of the bullet went through, but you can see it punched through here and then it blew out the back. Look at how it blew out the back though. That's pretty impressive. Check that out. Wow. And the rest of the water bottles appear, oh wait, looks like I'm wrong. It looks like it went into the second bottle. Look at that. We got a little hole there, look. So it looks like I'm wrong. So it barely penetrated through 2. So I'm gonna say 1.5 because it didn't actually punch through the second bottle. So it got stuck in the second bottle. You can see the water coming out of that little hole there. So I should have a bullet in here, or a fragment at least. Oh yeah, there's just a little fragment in there. Just like the buffalo board, just a little fragment. So let's actually get this one out of here. I'm going to use this water to clean my platform here. So 1.5 bottles, not 1. But I was expecting a lot more from the 500 Smith & Wesson. Pretty interesting. So let's just dump the water out here. I'm going to clean off all these tiles. We got some chunks here. Let's put these chunks over here. See if we can get that bullet out. So the bullet basically got shredded apart. Look at this. Check that out. So that's something to keep in mind if you're going to be using hard casts. You know, they have a tendency of breaking apart like this when they hit something hard. Okay. Look at that. Nothing left of that bullet. Just this little piece. That's it. So I guarantee you if I did this test with some monometals, it probably would still be a solid bullet. I've done a lot of ceramic tile tests before with the 500 Magnum and other cartridges, and I've shot hard casts and monometals, and the monometals and extreme penetrators, they always maintain most of their mass. They just get flattened out, the nose gets flattened out, but they still maintain their mass. But with the hard casts, they're brittle and softer, and they just break apart. So pretty interesting results, guys. Let me know what you think. Were you surprised by these results, or is this what you were expecting?
All right, we've got the perfect bear defense handgun in Alaska, the Ruger 454 Toklat in 454 Casull. This is 5-inch barrel, and Chooks had this one. He got this one on trade, of course, and it's got a custom cylinder and a custom light trigger in it. It's pretty sweet. I shot my chronograph with it a few years ago because the trigger was so light. I aimed at the chronograph and was going up to go above it, and the trigger was so light I accidentally pulled it. And you know, be careful what you keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot. That's safety rule number 1. Dead chronograph, right? So anyway, I'll quit talking. Great setup here. Got 3 things of ceramic tiles and a bunch of water jugs behind it, a bulletproof vest and a bag of dirt behind that. And no, the dirt bag is not Chook. Here we go. Woo! Forgot how much that one stings, but it felt good. Here we go. Woo! Forgot how much that one stings, but it felt good. Yeah, wow. Woo! So it knocked out 2 jugs and bounced off this one. I don't see it anywhere. So
how many jugs did it go through then?
2, 1 or 2. I couldn't tell. You'll have to look at the side view.
Okay.
But like it was 1 or 2, and it bounced off this one, I think. I'll double check here. You got pieces of bullet everywhere.
Oh wow.
So there's some pieces of bullet right there, some fragments that are lead that are definitely from this test.
Interesting.
So it's interesting.
Yeah, I don't see a big bullet in there though.
No.
No.
Oh. No.
Oh, there we got a bullet. I saw it roll out of there.
Where did it go? Ah, here it is.
So it looks like it went into the 3rd jug.
Yeah, the 3rd jug. Oh my goodness. That ceramic tile is tough stuff. Look at this bullet.
Smushed it.
It mushed it.
Wow.
That probably has 15% of its weight or less.
Wow.
It just got rid of that much lead. And that's one thing, the brittle harness on those buffalo bore and undercast, on the buffalo bore and Underwood, the hard cast bullets, they're not that brittlely hard. I think they're like 16, whereas the CKB cast bullets I use are like 21 or 22. Ken can correct me in the comments, but yeah. That's one thing about these. You can find a lot harder bullets out there than what buffalo bore if you hand load.
Or that was the Underwood. Let's see how the buffalo bore does now.
Yeah, okay, so that's the buffalo bore, but that was the Underwood?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's one thing is the Underwood hard cast. It penetrates, but it's a little soft. So we'll see how it does with the buffalo bore.
All right.
All right, guys, so I'm here with Chook from Chook's Outdoor Adventures, and we're going to discuss the results of the penetration test, 500 versus 454 Casull, ceramic tile and water bottles, and we're going to discuss the results of the Underwood ammo showdown. So he had a 360 grain hard cast, and I had a 440 grain hard cast. So those are like the classic, grain weights for bear loads as far as 500 Magnum and 454 Casull. And I went through 1.5 water bottles, and he actually went through how many?
2.
So, and that was after 3 of those ceramic plates. So, which, just shattered, big explosion. So that was surprising. I got a little more penetration than the 500 Smith and Wesson. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, that's really interesting. What are your thoughts about why that could be? Any
Well,
ideas?
we talked about how the Underwood ammo was significantly underpowered compared to the Buffalo Bore we tested. Uh, and sometimes, just when I know you mentioned when you got a slower bullet, maybe it's not dumping as much energy, so it gets through a little more. That's what I'm thinking happened.
Yeah, that's the theory. Yeah, it's like with, high power rifle bullets, with, very high velocities, they have a lot of hydrostatic shock and they expand, but they don't penetrate as much, but they dump a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Could have been why. I'm also thinking too, the diameter of the projectile, like,
Yeah.
454, it's a 45 caliber projectile versus 500 is a 50 caliber
Hmm.
projectile. So it's a little bit of a fatter projectile. So it needs more punch to get through the same amount of, material.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking. But and how was the effect when you shot those tiles? I mean, it just obliterated everything.
Big explosion. Yeah. It,
That's
it was
awesome.
pretty impressive. Yeah.
And as far as 500 versus 454 in general, now that we've done the Buffalo Bore and we've done the Underwood, what are your thoughts as far as which one would you choose for wilderness carry? What would you prefer, and what are your thoughts about that?
Well, I think the 454 is more than capable. I mean, I was impressed that the penetration did a little better, but man, that I need to get another 500. I used to have one, and it's just bigger and badder. So I don't think you necessarily need one over a 454, but if you really want to make sure, get a 500. It's definitely more powerful. But yeah,
Yeah,
this
for
thing
sure.
is more than capable. So I was impressed with the penetration. So I mean, you could say it won the penetration part of the test, but definitely the 500 is more powerful.
Yeah, and one thing I noticed with your revolver is that your cylinder is shorter, so it
Hmm.
seems like yours might be a little bit more compact because
Yeah,
the 500 Smith and Wesson is a longer
yeah.
overall length, so your cylinder seems like it's a little bit longer than a 44 Magnum, so your frame
Mhm.
seems to be a little bit smaller,
Yep,
so it might be more portable, easier to carry, especially
definitely.
like on a hip holster or something.
Yeah, the 5-inch barrel is perfect too. So
Perfect length, yeah, perfect
yeah,
balance. How's the balance with that barrel, the five-inch
it's
barrel?
balanced really well. Yeah,
And you still get a good sight radius because you got the
yep,
5-inch barrel, and
yeah.
it
It's hard to
doesn't
beat.
flip too much because
No, no, it flips, but the rubber grips are comfortable to shoot, so it's not painful or anything. So it's a good choice. So I'm happy with it.
yeah, I think honestly a 44 Magnum is in most cases enough, right, for even
Yeah.
brown bear if you get a good shot, but
Mhm.
454 Casull for sure is, I mean,
Yeah.
definitely not undergunned by any means. It's
Yep.
just the 500 Magnum is just extreme, it's
Yeah.
and then you get that fun factor of just having that revolver that's like the most powerful in the world and you just
Right.
obliterate things. So if that's something you're into, that's definitely a reason to get one for sure, just for the fun of it and the cool factor.
Absolutely.
But 454 Casull, another thing about that one, and maybe you know more about this than I do, but it seems like in Alaska or pretty much anywhere, you would probably be able to find it pretty easily, maybe even easier than 500 Magnum. Am I correct on that? Or
I think it's easier to find than 500 in most cases up here. Yeah.
okay. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this showdown: 500 Smith and Wesson Magnum versus 454 Casull. And check out Chuk from Chuk's Outdoor Adventures. He does a lot of good content on big bore revolvers, bear defense, Alaska. I know you're talking about even doing some overlanding soon, right?
Yep. Yep.
So
camping
So that's pretty
season.
much it, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.
Thanks, guys.